was going to college and was not doing very well in college. And so I decided that, you know, at that time we had to have obligated service. So I decided that I was going to join the service. My dad says, join the Navy because you'll always have a hot meal, a warm bunk, and, you know, just a nicer environment than being in muddy foxhole eating cold sea rations. So I joined the Navy. Our particular swift boat, the crew was on the 94, was extremely tight. We did things for each other. You know, if the engineman needed help, then, you know, I'd jump down there and help him out. Or the gunner, Vern, taught us all how to use all the various weapons. He was the gunner's mate, and they were all extremely talented. We just basically covered for each other. Great group, good people. We had some other people in and out, but being older veterans, we ended up later being split up and given to other boats to help other people out. But that was a good group, tight group. One of the trying experiences, come to think of it, with the 94 boat is we had gone up the Coulon River, and we had gone so far where the river splits. And right there where it splits, there was a cemetery. And it had some fresh gravestones, and with a star on them, and incense burning, and we all kind of freaked out and decided that was not a good place to be. But I don't remember if we ever got into a firefight or anything like that at the time. But that was tense because you knew you were deep in somebody else's territory. Ken Poole and I were working on the engines, and I had my back to the nest because we were out waterways, and we were working on the engines, and Admiral Zumwalt came up behind me, and Kenny could see him, but I couldn't see him. And he asked a couple of questions, and I just went off the deep end, and Kenny was freaking out on the other side there because he saw him up behind us, and trying to calm me down. And what happened was after I calmed down and got squared away and apologized to him, is I discussed the fact that we were about to go on patrol, and we had to take and split our ammunition load up to some of those who were staying behind. And so I was rather upset over that. And 2 weeks later, Admiral Zumwalt had it, or not 2 weeks, but sometime later, he had an LST full of ammunition pull up, and then everybody, you know, was restored to the full capacity plus. When we first started running the rivers, the bushes, you know, and trees and everything, there was you couldn't see 2 feet in. And after they sprayed, then you could see well into the jungle, especially down at the southern Kamau Peninsula. It was heavily forested. It was a Union forest. And when they sprayed after that, you just, you know, you could see what was going on, and if anybody was there or whatever. Otherwise, before they sprayed, they could be 2 feet from me and you wouldn't even know it. When we first started, when I first got on board, because I was initially supposed to be assigned to staff, and then they flew me down to Cam Ranh and I filled in on the 94. We were doing patrols off the coast, from a couple hundred yards to a mile out was our responsibility. And then they changed the operation. But anyway, we started going into the rivers. Once you started doing that, just about any time you could be in an ambush, because that was their territory. They were taxing the people like crazy down there in the southern peninsula, and so there was always a heightened sense of anxiety. At least, you know, as you were going in, it was like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And then when the firefight started, you had your business you had to take care of. You know, watch for this, that, or help. You know, so you could get through it and survive it. So it was quite anxious all the time that I can think